Alright YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So we had a ton of contents for last week, and the Duelist Nexus booster box came out. Ton of cards that we pulled but weren't really useful with the current marketplace, or people are not even buying those illusion cards at the moment because you guessed it, no supports yet for the illusion archetype, but hopefully in the near or upcoming sets we'll have those supports. But anywho, we had a couple of updates for the new bundles. The new bundles was actually insane. They were kind of good actually. So 600 for each of the new bundles right here, with 5 master packs that you can get. Sadly, we didn't get any UR from it, so just SRs though, but they were not really that good. We got also the new secret packs for the Sword Soul and the P.U.N.K. So this is basically the one that I wanted to talk about, since there was a person that commented in one of my videos, I think, wherein he asked if the P.U.N.K secret pack was really good to go into. So here is my answer. I'm not really good at typing my answers because I need to profoundly explain myself. First and foremost, we're gonna talk about the Sword Soul first, and then we'll talk about the P.U.N.Ks later on. I think it's much easier to talk about the Sword Souls first because there are a lot of good things that I need to talk about the Sword Soul. So Sword Soul in general, you have 2, 4, 6, 7 URs in this pack. So this includes the Yang Zing and the Sword Soul archetype. The 10 Ys, you can go for 10 Ys later on. I think 10 Ys, the higher rarity for the 10 Ys you'll have basically in your deck, of course, is SR. The lowest one I think is normal or rare in rarity, so it's easy enough to craft. For the Sword Soul, on the other hand, it's really good for Master Duel, adding this type of secret pack, let alone adding Yang Zing into this archetype as well. So it is one of the other worm archetypes that you will need for a Sword Soul deck as well. So Xiao Feng, Denglong, that's it. Denglong and Xiao Feng is one-offs in most of the Sword Soul deck. Denglong at the moment hasn't been seeing place at the current meta. Xiao, basically 2 copies. If one will be removed, I think you'll basically have one more, or search out another Sword Soul card. Sheng Ying, 1 copy at best. 1 copy of course, with the Sinister Sovereign, really good card as well to be on the board. I do prefer having this rather than a copy of Burn the Floor, having to burn your opponent and then removing those unnecessary spell and traps or monster that was special summoned. The next one, we have 3 copies of Muyi. So this is the only card that you'll need 3 copies in your deck, and by far you need to max this one out because this allows you to draw 1 card if this monster is used as fodder for a single summon. So that's basically it for the URs. Not much that you can pick off from the URs, basically, because, well, at the Yang Zing side, of course, but mostly Sword Soul side, it's very promising. The Iris Sword Soul, I'm not sure, because some other players doesn't really use this card. They do use this in 8-axis decks, but I think this is a really good card to have 1 copy of if ever you're going to another type of build or another type of deck. For the SRs, basically 2 copies of Baxia. Baxia is a really good card to be on the field as well, or summoned to the field. 1 copy of Yazi, so that is 1 SR there. 3 copies of Incredible Ecclesia, or 2, depending on your type of build. I think that's basically it. The only promising UR here is the Incredible Ecclesia and the Baxia. And also the 1 copy of Yazi. Oh yeah, I forgot. The Emergence is also necessary for this deck as well. 3 copies of this max. I think that's basically it. If ever you'll draw into another SR, you can just dismantle it and then craft your way into the necessary cards that you'll need for the Sword Soul 10 deck. So basically that's it. Everything's right here. The Long Yan, the Teia, what else? The Blackout is also here, the Sacred Summit. Everything's here. So typically all you need to do is just craft your way into the Tenyi. I think Tenyis have their own secret pack. If you manage to craft the Ashina, sorry, I forgot the name. So the Ashina is the one that you can just craft and then it will open the pack for the Tenyi monsters. So that is basically it. Very promising for the Sword Souls. If you're into the Sword Soul archetype, it is still one of the best meta decks there is. That is synchro based. Also, majority of the cards in the Sword Soul and Tenyi deck hasn't been targeted for the ban list. So if ever you're trying to go into or start your adventures with Master Duel or even Yu-Gi-Oh in general, I think Sword Soul is one of the best synchro decks there is for starting players as well. So that is Sword Soul right there. Let's move towards the P.U.N.Ks. Alright, so here we are with the punks, and I will answer the question from that guy that I talked a while, or just that commented on my video. What I need to talk about this pack. So this pack has two archetypes in it. That is the Karakuri and also the punks. The UR cards for the punks needs to be 1 to 2 copies at best. That includes the Amazing Dragon or the copy of Rising Carp. Dear Note, you need 2 copies of this in your deck. Psychic End Punisher, it is really amazing for Master Duel to add Psychic End Punisher in this secret pack, of course. So you don't need to like craft it if ever you'll get a chance to pull it. So that's really insane. This is one of the best cards that you can actually add into a punk deck, by the way. So yeah, kudos for Master Duel. The downside for this pack is basically you have Karakuri. Now, unless you are making also a Therian Karakuri deck or another variant for the Karakuri deck or the Earth Machine Karakuri deck, then I think it's going to be hard for you to go into a main punk deck. Because majority of the cards here are Karakuri. SR cards, Karakuri, Karakuri, Karakuri. I think it's going to be hard for you to even pull majority of the punk cards. But don't fret, I would say this is better to have all the punk monsters into one pack alone, so that you won't be going into another pack and just getting a hold of a ton of URs that you don't need and then dismantle them to craft your way into a punk deck. So this is kind of good in a sense. Anyway, that's one teeny bitty downside for basically opening this secret pack. But yeah, like I said, if you're into the whole punks, then you'll have to withstand this annoyance with the Karakuris, or drawing into or pulling out a copy of most of the Karakuri monsters. So depending on the number of copies, I think Amazing Dragon can be used on 1 copy at best. So I think that's one thing there. Rising Carp 1 copy, Dear Note, sorry, Dear Note 2 copies at best. 1 copy for your Jam Dragon Drive, really good for the deck as well. This is an SR, by the way, and majority of the Karakuri monsters are SR, so you're gonna have a hard time pulling your necessary punk monsters. Ziamin to 3, Foxy Tune to 3, Ogre Dance to 3, and just basically the Extreme Session to 1 copy at best. Some other punk monsters that you need for the deck is the Shurikosei to 1, the Wagon on 1 copy as well, and the 1 copy of Madame Spider. Additional also for the normal and rarity, you'll have Dangerous Kabu, or you can either choose a copy of Nashiwari Surprise. So that's most of the relevant cards for the punk decks. So I would say if you're trying to go into a punk deck, I think this is still a promising secret pack to go into. So I think that is my 2 cents in this secret pack. Hopefully this was insightful for you guys, or even for the guy who asked earlier. I'm sorry if my ranting or my explanation was very long. It is necessary because I'm not really good at explaining things using the keyboard. Anywho, so that is it. Tell me your thoughts on the new secret packs or even the new bundles that came out earlier for Master Duel. Are they good at your standpoint right there? So that is me signing off. Keep safe, good luck, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully we'll have a new deck profile in this coming week. So see you then. Bye bye.